Good morning and welcome to another one of Drew's book reviews. So today's book is going to be on Calamity by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 of the Reckoner series of books. If you haven't read Steelheart or Firefight first, I definitely recommend you read those two first. It is a trilogy, so this is the third book in that trilogy. But for those of you who are not familiar with this premise of this book, essentially it's this new star appears, which is referred to as Calamity, and it seems to be always there. And what this star has done, or what Calamity has done, as it has created superpowers within otherwise ordinary people. Each one of these powers is unique to the individual who has them. So one person can create force fields, for example. Another can see into alternate dimensions of reality, while someone else might be able to shrink things or change the scale or size of matter and object around them. Other persons can take someone else's powers or have the ability of gifting their powers, or quick and extreme healing from the most extreme wounds, things like that, or creating fire out of thin air, all kinds of stuff like that, turning things into steel, literally anything into steel. So some of the powers are really, really odd and strange, but the idea is that these powers have corrupted those who have been gifted with them, and this darkness within them takes over, and they become tyrants who are hell-bent on controlling and power over everyone and everything that they come across. And essentially, it's an idea of superheroes gone bad. Rather than the superheroes with the superpowers being the good guys, you've got the guys with the superpowers who are in fact the bad guys. And there are no superheroes. I love the premise behind this book series by Brandon Sanderson. And the books themselves are written for more of a young adult teen audience. So it's definitely not a high-end fantasy series of books. And it kind of has that Marvel comic book series feel to it in terms of the writing and the style and how the books and stories play out. I could really see this being as part of a Marvel comic book series, this kind of premise. And the funny thing is, I'm not really into the whole Marvel Universe thing. It's not something that's really captivated my interest. That kind of, people with superpowers and, genetic morphing into weird things or creatures or people. But this series of books, even though that's the premise of it, is still fantastic. Maybe it's because by Brandon Sanderson, who just happens to be an amazing author. Now, one of the more interesting aspects of this book is actually, before I get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about the premise of this storyline in this book. Is essentially we have David, who is part of this group called the Reckoners. They are effectively the only group that is fighting back against the rule and the tyranny of the epics. And in the last book, David's mentor, commonly known or simply known as the Prof, or Professor, has gone rogue. He had finally given into his powers and let him take over him, and Prof has gone bad, he's gone rogue, he has become a high epic, hell-bent on destroying everything and he'll stop at nothing to accomplish his goals, and killing anybody who stands in his way. So, who was previously David and the Reckoner's number one ally, has now become their most dangerous and feared enemy, and they have no choice but to stop him in an effort to save the world, literally. And of course, in order to stop him, they must also confront Calamity to end the reign of the Reckoners themselves, and to find out what or who Calamity is and destroy Calamity. Now, one of the more interesting aspects of this book is the setting. It takes place in the fictional city of Eldithia. And what's really kind of funny about this city is that it is literally a city made entirely of salt, which is apparently one of the epics superpowers is that they can grow or turn anything into salt. So we have this entire city that is literally built and made of salt. And it's not a stationary city, it's a city that moves. It's constantly on the move and traveling. So we have a traveling city built of salt, which is constantly having to rebuild itself approximately every 7 days because salt structures just don't stand very solid for a very long time. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. To be honest, I'm not even sure there was a point to it. Like, why a city of salt? And why a city that's constantly moving? Just that whole aspect of it, while humorous, was kind of pointless. But kind of funny in a way as well. But I have to admit, as pointless, as useless as it might have seemed, I thought it kind of made the story entertaining at the same time. And that's kind of one of the things I like about Brandon Sanderson. Sometimes there'll be something that's so completely pointless in his books, but somehow they still manage to add to the entertainment value of it. I mean, City of Salt, like, come on. Who could really live in a city of salt? You're constantly having to move every 7 days as the city deteriorates and rebuilds itself. And salt dissolves in water and other things, so it's really kind of a city that's constantly in a constant state of rebuilding, which is kind of funny. He does put into his writing as well with this series. He's got some witty remarks and banter between the characters, which is just awesome as well. And some really kind of sad attempts at making metaphors or similes, which I'm pretty sure Brandon did on purpose. One of the characters, David, he's always going on about how horrible he is at making similes and stuff like that. And so the ones he puts in here are just really, really bad, but really plays into the character's mindset of how horrible he is at doing this. So it really kind of makes that kind of funny and humorous within the writing, which definitely adds to the entertainment value. Overall, I would say that the Reckoner series really is a fantastic series, definitely for the young adult, youth, teen audience. But hey, you know what? So is Harry Potter, and I love those as well. I mean, the same thing goes with anything by Rick Riordan's Heroes series, whether that's Heroes of Olympus or whatever. Like all these teen genre books, just absolutely love for the most part. Definitely recommend picking it up, checking it out. Calamity, Book 3 of the Reckoners. Don't forget to read Steelheart and Firefight first before you get on to that one, because you definitely won't regret reading this series. Up next, we have Book 2 of Red Rising Trilogy, Golden Sun. So look forward to that. Definitely stay tuned. And of course, don't forget to like and comment below, and link will be in the descriptions on to my Twitter and Facebook feeds as well. And of course, andrewsbookreviews.wordpress.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having yourself a great day.